The former President Donald Trump announced on his social media platform, Truth Social, that Tuesday is going to be the day that he is arrested. However, since that announcement, there's been no confirmation from prosecutors that it'll definitely happen on Tuesday. Indeed, Donald Trump's own team are now saying that they've received no notification from the Justice Department nor the DA's office. Trump's spokesperson is even saying that Donald Trump only said Tuesday because that's what the media were saying. However, US media only began reporting it after Donald Trump said that he was going to be arrested in that social media post. So it's definitely not clear whether Tuesday is going to be the day that he's arrested and indicted. And we're also hearing reports that there's still one more witness to be heard in this grand jury investigation. The earliest that that could happen is Monday afternoon. And then the jury would need to decide whether they're going to charge him with a crime. And they would need to arrange travel for Donald Trump to come from Florida to New York City to be formally charged in a Manhattan courtroom. So there are plenty of issues: timing, travel, security arrangements, all suggesting that potentially Tuesday may not be the day that he's arrested and indicted. We also don't know exactly what he would be charged with. The expectation is it would be falsifying business records, but we've already seen top Republicans rallying around him, including Mike Pence, the former vice president, the House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, all of them basically saying that this is a politically motivated investigation from a Democrat prosecutor in New York City. Now, Donald Trump has also called on his supporters to protest. In that social media post, in all caps, he wrote, "Protest, take our nation back." And that in itself is causing concern because it echoes the type of messages he was putting out ahead of January the 6th, 2020, which of course led to the storming of the US Capitol building. The Manhattan District Attorney has also said that any threats of intimidation will not be tolerated. Law enforcement, he said, would investigate any threats. They would step in to stop people. He's also had to reassure his staff that their safety is the top priority, and he will be doing all he can to ensure that they are safe and that they are not threatened by the public. There is reportedly also a very large security operation being planned. Huge logistical challenges ahead to try and get a former president to New York, to a Manhattan courtroom. All of that is being weighed up. So we don't know if an indictment is just around the corner, whether it will happen this coming week, but there's plenty of planning going on behind the scenes.
And staying with international stories, Russian President Vladimir Putin has made a surprise visit to the captured Ukrainian city of Mariupol just days after the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. The ICC has charged the Russian leader with war crimes for the illegal deportation of Ukrainian children to Russia. The Kremlin has dismissed the warrant, while Western allies have welcomed the decision. Nick Harper has been monitoring reaction and sends this report from Washington.
Ukraine says that during the course of this conflict, more than 16,000 children have been detained and deported from Ukraine to Russia. Russia, though, throughout has said that these have been adoptions, not deportations, that these are children who'd been abandoned by their parents, that Russia had stepped in a humanitarian way and is now looking after them. Well, seemingly in a show of defiance, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has visited the Ukrainian city of Mariupol, a city that Russian troops captured last year. Russia, remember, does not recognise the jurisdiction of the ICC. It withdrew in 2016 following the annexation of Crimea, and as a result, we've seen some very strong words from Moscow. The Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, has said it was outrageous and unacceptable that the ICC had issued this arrest warrant. A spokeswoman for the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs said quite simply that the warrant was not legal to Russia. Ukraine, though, has reacted very differently. Ukraine's prosecutor has called the arrest warrant historic, and the head of Volodymyr Zelensky's office has said that the warrant is just the beginning. Some reaction here from the US, with the President Joe Biden calling the warrant justified, saying it makes a very strong point, and also saying that he clearly thinks that President Putin has committed war crimes during the course of this conflict. Now, of course, President Putin is unlikely to stand trial anytime soon because Russia doesn't recognise the ICC. It's under no obligation to extradite any of its citizens. But if President Putin visits any of the 123 countries that are party to the ICC, he can be arrested and extradited. And that's where South Africa comes in, because there has been an expectation that President Putin will be visiting South Africa in August for a BRICS summit. And South Africa does recognise the ICC, and as such it would be compelled to arrest Putin and deliver him to The Hague. Now, a spokesperson for the president has said that South Africa is aware of this arrest warrant and that it is cognizant of its legal obligation. But no word from the Kremlin as to what exactly President Putin plans to do ahead of that BRICS summit this summer. Nick Harper, SABC News, Washington.